Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to your latest Chelsea news. As we embark on the imminent introduction of Liam Rosenior to Chelsea Football Club, let's face it, there is no other candidates. They're going to paint a picture that there's this, there's that. The bottom line is there's no one. Liam Rosenior is the only one that is the candidate, and he's going to get the job, and he wants the job, and it's going to happen. Now, whilst we embark on that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's prudent we start from this news, which is about a Chelsea protest, a planned Chelsea protest, which has been organized. This is your chance. This is your chance, ladies and gentlemen, especially to the match-going fans. And of course, any international fans that want to spread the knowledge, do so. And this is your opportunity to ensure that some sort of change happen. Now, before we delve deep into all the details of the planned protest, we're going to obviously touch base on all the other stuff that's happened over the past 12 hours or so. Press conference that's been taken by our under-21s manager. I don't even know his name. I think his last name is McFarlane or something like that. We're going to go through what he had to say, some bits and pieces, not everything, and all the other shenanigans that has taken place over the last 12 hours or so, because prior to that, we did have the All You Can Eat Chelsea episode. Do make sure you check that out. If you've missed out on the latest All You Can Eat Chelsea episode, do give that a watch, where myself, Alexis Kafkas, and Connor, we've covered a lot of ground in that episode, and I feel like we were quite balanced about everything. So if you haven't watched that, give that a go, and we'll be back again next Tuesday, UK time, 10 a.m. morning. Hopefully all the panel members will be available for that episode. Now, let's delve into this Chelsea protest. What is this protest all about? As I said, before we get into the details of it, this is your opportunity. Match-going fans. It doesn't matter which manager we bring in, whether it's elite, whether it's not elite. It really doesn't matter unless and until this so-called project under the blue coat, which is specifically driven by Clearlake Capital, spearheaded by Iqbali. Todd Bowley is just a minority shareholder. The next majority shareholder after Iqbali, but Clearlake Capital hold about 70%. So in essence, Todd Bowley, it means nothing. It really means nothing. We need to start understanding it's not really Todd Bowley's Chelsea. It's Baghdad Iqbali's Chelsea, and it has been for the past 12 to 24 months. So if you want some change, if you want this project to at least evolve and tweak a little bit, we don't necessarily say that, okay, we'll stop buying gems. You can buy gems, but mix things up with some level of balance into the squad. Stop the interference with the managers and allow them to work. These are just a couple of the basic points that needs to be changed ASAP, because if it's not changed, Chelsea Football Club will suffer regardless of who the manager is. Now, let's go through the details of this protest. Breaking, understand a formal protest has been planned. Chelsea fan protest against Baghdad Iqbali and the sporting directorship. To be honest, the sporting directorship is neither here nor there. It's really Baghdad Iqbali. He's the main culprit in all of this. Ultimately, the sporting directors really just follow orders of Baghdad Iqbali. Chelsea versus Brentford, 17th January, Britannia Gate, Stamford Bridge. Protest starts at 1 p.m. Chelsea supporters are encouraged to come together in unity for a peaceful protest on the model and strategy, in particular Baghdad Iqbali and Chelsea's sporting directors. The reality, record spending, a youth-led recruitment strategy that has failed to raise standards, squad instability, failed strategy, managerial chaos. One club, one voice. Change must occur. Read the full manifesto below. So give yourself the opportunity to check out the manifesto. Quite detailed. I feel like last time when the protest happened, it was a failure. Not many people turned up. People really didn't understand the direction, who to send the message to. I think this time around, it's clear. The organizers have gathered all of this information, the manifesto, and they've really honed on to the detail as to what is the current problem at Chelsea Football Club right now. So I think this time it's far more organized, far better, collated. Now it's a matter of people actually making the effort. If you really care about Chelsea Football Club, especially to the match-going fans, go out there to this protest. And this is the only way we can be heard. This is the only way you can make some change. Whether the owners actually make a change or not, we don't know. Potentially they might not in the beginning, but it's a start. It's a start that the fans are absolutely irate. We are frustrated. And we're not going to accept this nonsense any longer. So to the match-going fans specifically, make sure you guys go there. And to the international fans as well, spread this information far and wide. Far and wide. So let's hope that this protest turns out to be success. There's a lot of people, and the owners at least gets to hear what we have to say and starts taking the fans seriously. Now, let's get into the news. Liam Rosenior, ladies and gentlemen, will be the next Chelsea manager. I'll be shocked if it's anyone else. There is no other names that's floating about. Liam Rosenior expected to be named Chelsea head coach as Chelsea players discuss his potential appointment. Eric Ramsey and Will still under consideration to replace him at Strasbourg. Chelsea players discuss. I'm pretty sure the players are discussing. Look, all I'm going to say is that we had a really nice segment in regards to Liam Rosenior in the All You Can Eat Chelsea episode. Make sure you check that segment out when we talk about Liam Rosenior, which is closer to the end of the show. All I have to say is that, and I've maintained this all along, this guy's not a dumb person. If you think Liam Rosenior is some sort of a dumb individual, you've got it wrong. I'm not some sort of an expert on Liam Rosenior, and I'm definitely not an expert in some, Strasbourg football. All I will say is that I've watched quite a bit of Strasbourg, and I've seen quite a bit of Liam Rosenior so far. He's a smart individual. He's a smart operator. The way he plays his football, his philosophy, there's something about that style. There's something about that approach. This guy's well-spoken. This guy's got a good track record with, young players. He seems to come across as a good motivator. So let's see what happens. However, having said all of that, I'm going to say that I think this job at Chelsea Football Club has come too early for him. And I'm worried that he's about to destroy his Chelsea, not his Chelsea career, but his managerial career. Because from Strasbourg, he probably should have gone to somewhere like a Crystal Palace. Keep improving, keep learning, and then make the jump to Chelsea Football Club. This Chelsea job, it's probably come way too early for him, way too early. But nonetheless, it is what it is. When Chelsea come knocking, especially for managers like Liam Rosenior, who are starting off, well, not really starting off, but they're in the start of their managerial career, they're not going to say no to it. These sort of opportunities don't come about all the time. So when they do present itself and it's on your plate, you're going to take it. You're going to grab it with both hands. So all I can say is that I'm worried if the working environment under the current ownership continues the way it did for the past managers, then he's inevitable to fail. It's inevitable that he fails. But if somehow they change their behaviorism and Liam Rosenior is allowed to grow and develop, who knows? Maybe something can happen. But we shall see. We shall see. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about Liam Rosenior's imminent appointment at Chelsea Football Club. It's going to happen. It 100%. As I said, I'll be shocked if it's not Liam Rosenior anymore. Mark Keller, president of Strasbourg, could resign from his position. Look, I feel sorry. Our owners, not only they're screwing up Chelsea Football Club and the way we're being run, but Blueco as a whole as well. They're ruining Strasbourg too. Pulling Liam Rosenior out of there midway through the season. And there's a source that's come out and said, and we'll go through that right here, L'Equipe, saying, Blueco doesn't seem bothered by the prospect of disrupting Strasbourg's season, a club they also own. A source close to Iqbali confirms this, they couldn't care less. This attitude, you couldn't care less. I mean, you can't treat Strasbourg like that. You really cannot. Their fans are one of the most passionate fans out there. You have to have some level of respect. Now, okay, you're going after their manager and trying to bring him at Chelsea Football Club, but do it with some due diligence, do it with some, you know, good behaviorism. Have some decorum about yourself. Don't be having these sort of statements be out there. A source close to Iqbali confirms they couldn't care less. You couldn't care less. It's just wrong, man. It's wrong from every level. As I said, not only these lot are destroying Chelsea Football Club, but they're destroying Strasbourg as well. How many more clubs do you want to destroy? There's no professionalism at all, man. Absolutely no professionalism. And Mark Keller, big up to him that he wants to leave, because all along he's been getting the brunt of all the heat at Strasbourg. He's been protecting Blue Co immensely. And he's probably come to the point where he's had enough. You want to take his manager midway through the season. Strasbourg are in the Conference League. They could potentially win it. They're top of the table in the Conference League. They're still competing to be in the Champions League position in Liga. You can't just simply take, Liam Rosenior and, F around with their players, sending Chelsea players on loan over there, taking players out, this, that, the other. You're literally like treating that club very, very poorly, very poorly. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on that. I think now the wait is they want to be somewhat respectful by trying to announce a replacement ready for Liam Rosenior over there, and then they'll announce Rosenior to Chelsea. Because if there's no replacement ready at Strasbourg and Chelsea Football Club goes ahead and announces Liam Rosenior right now, yeah, there's going to be a massive problem at Strasbourg in terms of they've already done protests, and their protest has actually been huge. Nonetheless, Blue Co owners couldn't give 2 cents with the protest over there either. So this is why I'm a little bit worried about the protest anyway. But I'm still encouraging people, especially the match-going fans, to do this. So let's see what happens down the track, who the next Strasbourg manager is going to be. It's quite important because ultimately it's our sister club. It's a club that's part of our multi-club model. And it's an important factor in the overall structure of Blue Co. So let's see what happens to Strasbourg. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, sources close to Maresca also claimed that influence on selection was not just about workload, but that he was also told to use players to maintain their transfer value. Chelsea sources denied this is the case. So once again, conflicting information. One source saying that Maresca was influenced, in terms of his selection coming from above. He was told to use rotation. He was told to rotate players to increase the value of players. Another source is saying this is not right. Now, in some instance, I definitely can believe this because our owners, they operate in this manner. So I not for a second I would think this is far-fetched. I could absolutely imagine and then somewhat accept that our owners might have reached out to the sporting directors, who ultimately reached out to the, manager and sort of influence who should start and what not. I don't think this is one bit far-fetched. Football politics it's not a new phenomenon. It happens and it will forever happen. And it's not new to Chelsea. This happens in other clubs as well, but at Chelsea, it's probably intensified. But I also will have to say, maintain the transfer value, rotate players to maintain. What transfer value are going to maintain for Tosin? He's been dropping stinkers after stinkers after stinkers. And, your reluctancy of not utilizing Andre Santos at times or Estevan William. So in one hand, I do understand that this isn't far-fetched. There definitely must have been some sort of influence in regards to who starts. So I'm pretty sure Enzo Maresca had his hand tied. But at the same time, I also wonder certain decisions that Enzo Maresca made prior to parting ways to Chelsea Football Club, was it all due to increasing the value of the players? Because some of the decisions he made didn't seem like it was to increase the value, because he was reluctant to use certain players, and he was more, favorable in using certain players in the likes of Tosin, for example. If you want to increase the value, you should be starting Achapong, because that would increase the value. So there are certain things that don't make sense. There are certain things that make sense. And this is why we have the conflicting information. One source saying that Enzo Maresca was influenced, another source saying that's not the case. Now, this is what's going to happen. This level of debacle is going to happen when, parties part ways. One source had been told by a senior player how Maresca was seen as giving stability to the club and major factor in how they were able to compete against the best sides in matches. But now Maresca has gone, the players fee, the team has gone back to square one, and that his departure will have a major impact on the dressing room. The source says the players believe it sends a message that it will be difficult for Chelsea to contend for trophies on a regular basis if this regular change in the dugout approach continues. I absolutely agree. Not a single thing in that commentary is wrong. I'm worried as well. I'm worried how the players are going to take this, news situation, how they will react to this. Are some of the players who already were on the fringe had their agents calling up the football club, but the players that were playing on a regular basis, what do they will do? Well, are they hitting up their agent and saying, hey, start contacting the club and start talking about perhaps leaving the football club? What about players like Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Cucurella, Reece James? What are they thinking? They can't seem to get any level of consistency. It always seems to be forever in a reset and a revamp. Surely some of these players, it'll come to a point where they'll get fed up. It's only natural. And once you get fed up, you start calling your agent and asking them to get you out of the football club. So it'll be interesting to see what type of reaction we're going to get. Are the players going to look at the rest of the season, especially the Premier League season, and say, do you know what, it's in the bin? New managers coming in. Are they going to respect the new manager, who's, I feel, is more of a rookie than Maresca, even though he apparently has more experience than Maresca when Maresca first joined Chelsea Football Club. But nonetheless, I think Maresca obviously now has had 1.5 seasons at the highest level, whereas Liam Rosenior is still the manager of Strasbourg, right? He hasn't really managed anyone at the highest level as yet. So will the players, how will the players react to that? Are they going to respect Liam Rosenior? So I'm worried. Let's see what happens. But everything said over here, it makes sense. Of course, we're all fearful. We're all fearful how the players will react to all of this. Now, Callum McFarlane, there we go. That's the name. I had no idea who this person was 12 to 24 hours ago. Now I do. He was he is the under 21, under 21s. Chelsea's under 21 manager, coach. And he's now going to be the caretaker until the new appointment is made for Chelsea. And he had the press conference earlier today. This is what he had to say. We've had some time as staff to watch Manchester City and put some ideas together for Sunday, which is good. We want to be somewhat prepared. I just hope that the players look at this situation and say, do you know what? So much has been said about us, manager being sacked. Let's go out there and show some pride. And rally. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm not really hoping for any type of tactical masterclass. All I'm hoping for is some level of rallying the troops, and some level of pride, and going out there and just battling for one another and for the fans all across the world and all over, UK as well. So that's all I'm hoping for. And if that turns out to be something that ends up giving us a positive result, fantastic. And we can kick things off from there. We can start somewhat rebuilding again. I just hope that players, once they face up to Manchester City, that they don't collapse and it doesn't become like a 4 or 5-0 situation. I think that will only be supremely ugly, and that will give an indication as to what is to come, in the near future. Callum McFarlane goes on to say that energy was exceptional in training today. They seemed focused. They know we have a massive game on Sunday. Reece has been big in terms of leadership. And I'm looking at Reece James massively. Now with no manager there in the dugout, I'm relying a lot on Reece James to galvanize this team, to get everyone together. Lead by example. Reece James, lean on Caicedo, lean on Enzo Fernandez. Well, Caicedo is not even available. Lean on Enzo Fernandez, lean on Cucurella. Lean on some of these, older players in our team, more experienced players. Lean on the leadership group, basically. And put together a solid game plan. Stick to it through all adversities, because it's going to be difficult. It's going to be wave after wave after wave of attacks, and we're going to have to weather the storm. And one thing's for certainty, Manchester City, they will give you opportunities. They are susceptible to counterattacks. So can we take advantage of that? Hopefully the fundamentals of our football can stay put, even though Enzo Maresca has parted ways with Chelsea Football Club. And that the players don't forget how to operate. And hopefully that can lead us to a positive result. That's all I can hope for. To be honest, there's not much else to hang our hat on. That's the only thing we've got. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke about, especially in relation to the protests and the imminent introduction of Liam Rosenior at Chelsea Football Club. Smash up the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Hype as well really helps with the algorithm and the growth of the channel. If you've missed out on All You Can Eat Chelsea episode earlier today, do check that out. Leave comments there as well. And hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, take care. See ya.